Howdy folks, you're watching Deuce, and today I was about to record a video on calipers, and I decided I'm not going to do that yet, only because I got a phone call. The phone call that every firearms enthusiast loves to get from the local gun store telling me that the rifle that I purchased has come in for pickup. So I ran down to the gun store and I picked up the rifle that I bought for Black Friday. It was shipped in, and I did my background check, of course. Passed it with flying colors, and I picked up a Thompson Center compass rifle. Now, as you know, or if you've been with my channel for long enough, you'll know that I have done several videos on the original compass rifle from Thompson Center. Well, this is the second generation. All those other videos, I'll put some cards up here. You can see them if you want to, if you've not seen those earlier videos. But this one is the second generation, which is supposedly the same rifle, the same great rifle, but with a better trigger. That was the only caveat I had with the old one for the most part, which was the trigger from the factory, although it was adjustable, it still wasn't adjustable very low. It was still pretty heavy as far as the trigger is concerned. Now, you could remedy that by getting an M-Carbo trigger spring kit, and it worked great after that. So we will see if the second generation stacks up. Now, let's see here. I've just taken it out of the box just to make sure that it is what I ordered, and then I put it right back in. But here we go. We got the Compass 2. Let's see. Yeah, you can see it right there, the Compass 2 on the side. And we got the bolt. Okay, got my rifle stand here. I'm not sure how steady it's going to be, but good enough. Got the barrel placard, and it does say Compass 2 right there. Pretty sweet. Everything says Compass 2. They want you to make sure that you know that it is a Compass 2. I don't remember if I made a distinction or discovery last time, the first time I had one of these, but the bolt is dry as a bone. There is not a bit of lubrication on this bolt. So I'm going to have to remedy that here in a second. Yeah, it's pretty crunchy right now because I got to get some lube on that. But, of course, it is unloaded. There's no ammo. I don't even own ammo that fits this firearm yet. So we won't be going to the range today, unfortunately. Okay, the trigger is not bad. The Compass 2 rifle has a non-adjustable trigger, but it has a trigger blade, the old trigger blade that they started to use to kind of get around the attorneys of the people that are a little too trigger happy and end up not following the correct guidelines. They end up shooting themselves in the foot. This is a big boomer, a 338 Win Mag. Why did I get that? Well, because I have a suppressor that fits that will handle the 338 cartridge. So why not? And here we have the hybrid suppressor on there. Oh, it's going to be amazing to be able to pull the trigger on this. All right, that's awesome. Now, it's a little bit front heavy, but the hybrid suppressor by Silencer Co. is not a lightweight suppressor, but it's meant to handle big bore applications. So it can take 4570 government, especially, of course, the 338, both Lapua and Winchester Magnum, handle those no problem. Which actually, that's a note here that I need to talk about, is the threading. The threading on the 30 calibers and above on the compass rifles are all very standard 5/8 by 24. And I believe, check my math on this, I believe everything below that, below 30 caliber applications, is all 1/2 by 28. All very standard, and that's what you want for a utilitarian rifle. Standard rifling, standard threading for all your very standard applications. All the Compass Center rifles, both first and second generation, have a removable rotary magazine. The big boy cartridges, the 7mm, the 300 Win Mag, the 338 Win Mag, they hold 4 rounds in each rotary magazine. And the smaller calibers, the 308, 30-06, I believe, and lower, 223, all that good stuff, hold 5 rounds per magazine, and that's it. So perfect for hunting. And they all have, the Compass 2 and Compass rifles all have a threaded barrel. Now, they now have a Compass Compact, which is not threaded, but the full-size rifles are all threaded, which is fantastic. One of the reasons why I love this rifle and why most people love these rifles, because number one, It's simple. Number 2, it's cheap. Number 3, it's got a threaded barrel from the factory. Fantastic. She is supposed to be fully floated from the factory, so let's go ahead and test that barrel to see if it touches the stock. Nope. Fully floated from the factory all the way back to the receiver. Fantastic. That is great for those repeatable shots. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look here. The fit and finish, I don't think that's good. Let's go ahead and grab one of my first generation Thompson center compass rifles. Got them over here. Most of my modern stuff is on this first cabinet. Let's see. Shotguns, pistols. There we go. Okay, well, I got 2 of them over here on this side of the cabinet, but one of them's all dolled up and ready for a night out, and this one is plain Jane. Pretty much as she came from the factory, except for the M-Carbo trigger spring kit. Yep, they're different. They're very different. The second generation barrel, I'm comparing the 338 Win Mag to the 300 Win Mag. That's the first generation I got last year, or maybe even 2 years ago. I can't remember. But anyway, the 300 Win Mag, the first generation, has a nicer finish on the outside of the barrel. Actually, it's not even the finish. The finish is the same. I'll take that back. The finish is the same, but underneath that finish, you can see tooling marks. Only in the reflection. Once I hit the studio lights are hitting the barrel, I can see them pretty quickly. But you can see tooling marks underneath the finish on the second generation barrel. The first generation barrels are completely smooth and clean, no tooling marks whatsoever. So will that translate to a worse shooting rifle? Probably not, because this has the same 1 MOA guarantee as the first generation does. Let me tell you right now, that 1 MOA guarantee is legit. The 2 compass rifles that I have, the first gen compass rifles I've got, and the other people's that I've shot. I've shot a ton of other compass rifles at the range that belong to other people, different calibers and whatnot. They were all incredible shooters. The 1 MOA guarantee, if you're not under 1 MOA with decent ammo, then the problem is probably you. The stocks themselves look identical. They've come off the same assembly line as far as the stocks are concerned. Part of the same molds, the same molding machines. Let's see, butt pads are exactly the same. Both of them fit very poorly on the end of the rifle. You give up a little fit and finish for a good barrel at this price range. The scope mounts are identical. The bolts look identical. Of course, the triggers are different. There's a close-up of the triggers. The new one has that bladed style trigger. I have found another difference. The first generation comes with a nice metal thread protector. Whenever you have a threaded rifle, you should always have some sort of thread protector on the end of that barrel. Whether it's an actual just normal thread protector or if it is a muzzle brake or what have you. Well, they went from a nice metal one to a plastic one. They know full well that shooters will more than likely take that thread protector off, toss it in the garbage, and then either put a fancy thread protector on it, one that more fits their style. They're going to put their suppressor on it, or they're going to put a nice fancy muzzle brake. One of those 3 options. So most shooters are going to be tossing that thread protector in the garbage anyway, so might as well save a few pennies while you protect it from shipping, basically. As we snake further and further down into the barrel, you can see, especially with the reflection off the bolt face, you can see that the 5R rifling is still utilized in the second generation, just like the first generation. And the 5R rifling, it utilizes more of a chamfered edge, more of a softened edge on that rifling, so it does not cut into the bullet jacket. It just makes the whole package more accurate. The main difference, though, between these 2 rifles is the trigger. The first generation trigger, is a normal standard trigger. And from the factory, it's pretty heavy. I believe it was like 7 pounds, if I remember correctly. I've not gone back to rewatch my old video, but I believe the factory one was 7 or 8 pounds. I was able to get it pretty low with the M-Carbo trigger spring kit. The second generation does not have an adjustable trigger. Now, the old one, the adjustable trigger was heavy and heavier. Those were your 2 options. So the second generation just has that bladed style trigger, and it is non-adjustable. So let's go ahead and check out what it's like from the factory. Yep, needs to be lubed. I'm going to do a dry test, and then we'll lube her up and see what happens there. Okay, we are zero. Well, let's see. Zeroed out. The blade itself is 1 pound. £3 6 ounces. Some ballistol. Love this stuff. It smells like licorice. It's already doing better. Okay, let's check that here again. It's about the same. 3 pounds 5 ounces. That's pretty good. That is pretty good for a fresh out-of-the-box trigger. Bolt feels good. It's not super smooth, not yet. But I noticed that with the old ones too. The first generation really needed some cycles under the belt to really smooth out. And here's the original compass rifle, the first generation rifle. Let's go ahead and do a trigger check on it, just to refresh my memory what the old trigger was like after being modified. £3 4 ounces. I really have no surprises with this rifle. It is exactly what I expected. There's a few little corners cut on the fit and finish, but other than that, it is not a big deal. I care about how a rifle performs, not how it looks. One of the things I have noticed is that the bolt can get stuck right here. Right after you unlock it, the bolt can stick. And then it comes free. So I'm going to have to work on that. I may need to just do a really deep clean and then cycle it a bunch while watching TV, which is not unheard of. That is not an unusual thing to have to do for a new bolt-action rifle, especially a budget-optioned bolt-action rifle. Unfortunately, because of the ammo crunch, the ammo shortage right now, I have not been able to procure ammo yet. I have some on the way. They have not shipped it yet. They are waiting to get it, I guess, wrapped up in a bow for me. But this is going to be one of the few firearm videos I've ever made that does not include me shooting said firearm. If it is anything like the 300 Win Mag, the 6.5 Creedmoor, oh, if it's anything like the 6.5 Creedmoor, this is going to be a fantastic rifle with a big boom on the end of that barrel. This will be my boomstick, 338 Winchester Magnum. What if you need to kill an elephant that's hiding behind another elephant? 338 Win Mag. Perfect. I've slept on my original conclusion. This is the next day, and I have a new conclusion. If you are the type of gun owner who does not want to modify their firearms from the factory, you want to buy something from the factory and leave it in its factory form, which I understand, I get that, then I suggest look for the second generation. The Compass 2 rifle is better, just slightly, but it is better. It has a much better trigger feel than the original factory trigger on the original first generation model. But if you're willing to spend about $20-25 or so for the spring trigger kit and do some time and effort involved in that, in the installation, the original generation, the first generation, I think is a better option. Easier to modify, or actually capable to be modified for the trigger at least. It's a fantastic platform. They both are really, and you can't go wrong with either option. But if you want to modify it, first generation. If you don't want to, the second generation will work wonders. Well guys, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a like and go subscribe. A lot more is on the way. If you have any comments, questions, or a show idea, leave that in the comment box below the video. I try to get those many as possible. Now, YouTube has changed their end card here, so somewhere on here, there will be some other videos for you to click on if you want to stay on Deuce and Guns channel. And as always, you guys have a great day. See ya.